Hello and welcome to my new channel. I've only just launched it, so I hope you enjoy the videos that I'm going to make in the future. I promise to be making plenty. I want to cover in this video the Nigerians, the Africans and the black people, people of color, who were told you are not allowed to go on the train out of Ukraine. What's interesting is that they didn't tell the women, white women, they didn't tell the white LGBTQ because you can't tell who they are. They told people that they can see visually their color. In other words, when it comes down to it, society tries to pretend that, women, white women and LGBTQ all suffer the same discrimination. But when it comes down to it, they use the argument because that's one way of dumbing down and making sure that black people, if you like, situation awareness does not reach the forefront. It's one way of making sure we don't get any justice. But however, when it comes down to it, as one Nigerian student says, I think he was studying chemistry or something, he said that you would think that during disasters like this, you would think that when human beings are supposed to pull together, still racism was still a problem. One said that the Ukraine police put a gun to her and her child's head and said, you're not allowed to leave because you're black, you're not white. It's all about color. It's always about race. You can't leave. Can you imagine the irony? They don't want you to live in Ukraine because you're black, but now it's going up. They don't want you to leave. It's a book they don't want to see. It's a very angry book. It goes into how black people are not wanted in Europe. It reads very painfully. It's written as a diary, and it really hits home that we're not wanted. And the worst thing about it is that if America, Britain and Germany or Italy, where black people live, if that went up, even though they tell us they don't want us to live there now, they would tell us we can't leave. It's irony how our destiny is shaped by our circumstances. So the black students in Ukraine can't leave because white lives comes first. White lives matter. Hence why Black Lives Matter, although the Black Lives Matter has gone dead, I don't know why. Black Lives Matter movement has suddenly stopped. They made their $2 billion, some have bought a mansion, and they've gone away now. Hence why we're going to have more racism. Because when Black Lives Matter as a movement or as a consciousness was worldwide, globally, there were changes. But as soon as a Black Lives Matter, sadly, like many superficial black civil rights movements, made their money, they're gone, they disappeared. And which is why racism is here, because unlike the white feminism and LGBTQ, they gather together, they have a strong unity, and they make sure that there'll be no crimes against LGBTQ. They make sure that white women have equal pay, equal standing. Sadly, black people, we're not united, and as a result, we are facing these things around the world because these people know they can get away with it. They know that when it comes to us, we're Laurel and Hardy, we're Mr. Bean, we're the two Ronnies, they can do whatever they want to us. Hence, even if they couldn't even speak English, they know that black people at the bottom of the ladder. It just can't be the color of our skin why we're treated like this. It must be what they see on TV. It's got to be a cultural thing, what they are learned about us or taught about us. It just not make any sense, because how can you have that level of discrimination towards people of color and your English is not that good? It doesn't make sense. But all over the world, they know how to treat black people, even if they can't speak English. So something is seriously wrong and it needs addressing. But we can't address these issues until we learn to love ourselves and have some kind of pride and self-honor, or this kind of racism will never stop. They will study us and think, well, why should I change? Why should I allow them to jump on the train, along with the privileged white people, when look at the state they're in? They don't love each other. We don't support each other's business. So they're going to continue like this. There's no reason for them to change. No reason. We have to change ourselves first by loving ourselves and valuing ourselves as people. Then people will be forced to change towards us. He didn't surprise me. A lot of black people were surprised. Oh my God, I thought when it came to disaster, the whole world would come together. But no, they said white people first, white women first, white fathers first, white LGBT first. And they told us we can't go anywhere. It did not surprise me at all. When you read the book, they don't want us here. You begin to realize that you shouldn't be surprised. I was not surprised, because the circumstances and situation that we're in, this is why we're treated the way we are.